Okay, quick video blog again. Just something I was thinking about on the way home from work. It's about oil, obviously. That's a big topic right now. But I was confused. You hear constantly the president talk about we have to open up ANWR, we have to open up offshore drilling, otherwise the price of oil will not go down. That we have to do all these certain things that all involve allowing more leasing of properties currently protected under federal and state laws to oil companies for more drilling, more exploratory drilling. And that's the only way, according to many, including oil companies, President Bush and several others, that the gas prices, oil prices will come down. But my confusion comes that the oil companies currently have have leases to millions of acres of land that they leased after they determined there was oil there, yet they're not drilling there at all. So my question is, if they have all these leases to millions of acres of land that they're not drilling oil out of, what makes anyone think that giving them more leases to more land would make them drill for oil? And even if they were, what makes them think that it would bring the price of oil down if they currently aren't pumping at maximum capacity or even refining at maximum capacity? I mean, if they currently aren't doing their maximum capacity, what makes us think, or anyone think for that matter, that they would do it after we give them more leases? It just confuses me. It's kind of like the rationality, if we give them more and more money in tax incentives or tax breaks, then not only will they make sure that oil and fuel costs are low, but they'll also use that extra money to develop other ways of producing energy that would essentially destroy their way of making money. It's not real logical. Okay, I apologize. My brain is completely off today. I didn't sleep well at all. I was thinking about, and actually I did look this up on the internet. I looked all over the place. Who is to blame for current oil prices, current fuel prices, not only in the US, but all over the world? So I went to look. I was just curious to see what the consensus was. And the odd thing about it was, there isn't a consensus. You find everything from someone believing that it's the Middle East's way of exerting power over the United States, all the way to it's because there aren't enough Christians in the world. I mean, and then there's the in-between things where it's the oil producing countries are saying it's not us, OPEC, I believe, saying it's not us, we're pumping more than enough oil, which of course they're not. They're not pumping at even max capacity themselves. And then you look to the oil companies in the US, is it their fault? And they say, oh no, it's not our fault, we're not making any money off of this, even though several of the past quarters they have set worldwide records in the profit that they have made. And a great deal of that profit for many of the companies has been reinvested in buying commodities, which is them. And of course right now oil commodities are the highest money producers on Wall Street. And then of course you say, well then maybe it's the speculators on Wall Street, and they say, oh no, it's not us, you don't need to regulate us, you don't need to change everything else. It's the fact that you, society, uses too much, you have such a hunger for oil, you're using too much oil, there isn't enough oil. When you look at all the stories and all the points of view, nobody is taking any of the blame. Everybody's pointing their finger at everyone else saying it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault. It's one of those annoying little shell games where they put a ball underneath one of them and they swing the cups around and ask you to find the shell. Essentially the ball is blame, keeping people from actually doing something about whatever it is all three of them are probably. But anyways, that was my question. If oil companies currently have millions of leases to millions of acres of land that they're not drilling in, what would be the reason for us to believe that if we give them more leases, that they will in fact actually drill, which they aren't doing now? And then of course, who really is to blame, considering nobody's taking any of the blame? Alright, just let me know.